Hello everyone, and welcome to today's tutorial. In this video, we are going to explore a node-RED flow that enables users to look up details based on a pincode using an external API. Let's dive right in. We start our journey with an HTTP input node, which listens for GET requests on the pincode URL. This node is the entry point for our flow, waiting for a user to access the URL via their web browser. When a request is made to this URL, the node triggers the flow. Next, we connect this node to a template node named HTML form. This template node generates an HTML form that will be presented to the user. The HTML code within this template node constructs a simple form with a text input for the pincode and a submit button. Here's the HTML code used. This form is designed to send a GET request to the lookup URL when the user submits their pincode. After generating the HTML form, we need to send it back to the user's browser. This is where the HTTP response node comes in. The HTTP response node takes the HTML from the template node and sends it back to the user, displaying the form in their browser. Now, let's move to the second part of our flow, which handles the actual pincode lookup. When the user submits the form, a GET request is made to the lookup URL, which is captured by our second HTTP input node. This node is configured to listen for requests on the lookup URL. Once a request is received, it triggers an HTTP request node named Fetch API Data. This node sends a request to the external API to fetch data based on the provided pincode. The URL configuration in this node looks like this. Here, query.pincode is a placeholder that gets replaced with the actual pincode entered by the user. This ensures that our API request targets the correct pincode. Upon receiving the response from the API, we need to process the data. For this, we use a function node named processAPI_response. This node contains JavaScript code that passes the JSON response from the API and generates an HTML table if the lookup is successful. Here's the code used in the function node. The function begins by extracting the first element of the payload array, which contains the API response. It then builds an HTML string. If the API response indicates success, it constructs a table with the details of each post office in the response. If the lookup is unsuccessful, it displays an error message. The generated HTML from the function node is then passed to another template node named displayResults. This template node simply outputs the HTML content, ready to be sent back to the user's browser. Finally, we use another HTTP response node to send the generated HTML back to the user. This node ensures that the results of the pincode lookup are displayed in the user's browser. Let's test the flow to see it in action. We'll start by deploying the flow. Next, open a web browser and navigate to HTTP localhost 1880 pincode. You'll see the pincode lookup form. Enter a pincode and submit the form. The flow will process your request, fetch the data from the external API, and display the results in a table format. And there you have it. We've created a node-RED flow that allows users to look up details based on a pincode, fetches data from an external API, and displays the results in an HTML table. This flow demonstrates how powerful and flexible node-RED can be for creating web-based applications. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave a comment below. Do like this video and subscribe to the channel for more tutorials. Don't forget to check the description to download the node-RED flow. If you want to learn how to integrate the database with node-RED, then check out the video showing on the screen. We'll see you there. Thank you for watching and happy coding.